Welcome back, everyone out there, and everyone who may or may not be out there. I don't know, maybe some aliens listening. You never know.
Well,
We may
they're
be in the
out there. They're
Matrix.
out there.
Hey, we may be in the fucking Matrix for all we know. But if it you know what? If this beer tastes like beer and it gives me a buzz, or I think I'm getting a buzz, but it's like created through the Matrix, I'm cool with it. It's
That
all
steak
good.
tastes delicious.
So,
What was his
yes, it
name in the
is.
Matrix? Cypher or whatever.
Yeah,
Joe Pantoliano.
I love that guy.
Joey Pants, right, Brian?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys are back again to the Horror Returns. I'm Lance, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts Brian and Philip. How's it going, guys?
What's up?
I know. Yeah. What?
Big,
Go ahead.
Everybody speak at once.
I know.
yeah, no, big question on everybody's mind, Brian. We heard you say there was a wrestling returns coming. Fill us in. What's going on?
Yes, promised we would be getting these spin-off shows on the network back out. And first one was the Wrestling Returns. We did Elimination Chamber that happened over the weekend.
That sounds fantastic.
Interesting show, John. Spoiler for everybody who don't know. I don't know if anybody that does follow wrestling or doesn't. John Cena turned heel for the first time in his career.
Oh, they saw him, didn't they?
Wow. I got to see that.
Aligned himself with The Rock. And
is The Rock a bad guy again?
Yep.
Oh.
He's in his
Man.
He's in his heel character called the Final Boss. Because in real life, he's part of the board that owns WWE.
Oh,
right,
okay.
right.
So they just made it into a heel character.
I love it.
And
I love
for
it.
some reason, Travis Scott was there too.
Because why not, right?
Whatever.
May or may not have injured Cody Rhodes by slapping him hella hard on the side of his head, rupturing his eardrum.
Oh, shit. You can't cup your hand, brother. What are you doing?
I guess The Rock gave an interview, and I guess Travis said he wanted to get his hands dirty, and he told him, he's like, "Go ahead, brother, get into it." And then he slapped him, and then The Rock was like, he slapped the shit out of him.
Well,
the key is to make it look real.
So Travis, you got a receipt coming. I'm guessing probably WrestleMania. He's got something coming his way.
He's about to get bushed in the nose hard.
That'll be fun.
But yeah, we dropped that last night. So everybody that got to listen to it, thank you. And yeah, next couple of weeks we got Stream Fiends and Action coming, and I got some stuff working on Nez's network over there, Skater Podcast Network, Skater Nez Podcast Network. So got some stuff coming.
All right, new shit coming out. We should be getting some new koozies, but
cool.
I don't know.
That's
I'm talking
way better than what I was going to say.
I'm talking to the company that made these for it. Brian, you still never have gotten any, have you?
I got the original OG ones.
Nah, you got to get. Well, you know what? Okay,
The
so here's my plan. I want to get the logo on one side and Jasper Jenkins with the axe on the other side.
Oh, cool.
But for 500 of those, it's gonna be like $760. So I'm like, yeah. So I said, can you give me a quote for about 200? Let's start off with a smaller number or something. So I'm waiting for that. So that's the plan.
I got the original one when we were at Texas Frightmare together, when Phil was providing beverages for us.
Oh yeah, that was carrying around a backpack full of beer.
I remember that. We got to do that whenever we get to. Well, we won't be able to bring a backpack full of beer into Universal Vegas, but whenever they finally open that place, we got to all meet up there. What's that?
Can we? Yeah. I could do like some sort of weird like bodysuit of whiskey or something. Although that would be weird to get warm whiskey that was warmed up by my nuts.
It's, you know what? I don't think anybody would mind.
Yeah.
And it's whiskey, so it's clean, and it's not actually touching your nuts, right?
It's not sanitizing the outside.
But it's still weird.
I mean, the things we do to catch a buzz, right?
That's true.
All right. Well, I guess we might as well jump into cool of the week. Who's got something that really shines this week, guys? Because I might have to struggle a little to find something.
I'll go first. I'm doing something a little different this week. Don't laugh. I'm interested in the new Karate Kid movie coming out. So I wanted to see a couple things that the new Karate Kid in it, Ben Wang. So
all right.
I've seen he had a couple of stuff on Disney Plus. The first one's a sports drama called Chang Can Dunk.
I've heard of that one. Yep, yeah. I've heard of that one.
That one you don't really get a.
It's like an Air Bud movie.
Pretty much.
Very much like an Air Bud movie. It sounds like, yeah.
That one you don't really get a feel for him as far as his acting ability because he's more of a side character. So I ended up checking out something else that was on Disney Plus it's a series called American Born Chinese. It's like a mystical fantasy.
Heard of that one. I think there's a new season coming out, right?
No, it got canceled, which kind of bummed me and my daughter out because it left on a cliffhanger, and she was looking out to see when the next season was, and then she was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "What? Canceled?" She was like, "Yo."
Disney pulling a fucking Netflix, man.
And it had a good cast. It had a good cast. Michelle Yeoh, Ki Hu Kwan.
Mm-hmm.
It had a lot of Asian American actors. Like if you didn't know their name, you definitely seen them in a whole bunch of things. Yeah. If in the new Karate Kid if he plays like a shy, awkward, kind of nerdy kid, he's definitely gonna pull it off from what I've seen in the show.
Well, he may start out that way.
I mean, I think that makes
sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the classic character. Even though, like Danny, really wasn't.
Right.
Danny was the villain. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know, right?
Started every damn thing.
Like I for the hero of the story, he was a little bit douchey, but like,
right.
He definitely wasn't just some nerd.
So as far as acting, I think the kid will pull his weight. From what I understand in real life, he's like a multi-degree black belt. So that's cool. The fighting scenes probably be on point with him.
All right.
So checked out those and was already on Disney Plus, and I forgot Daredevil Born Again dropped the first 2 episodes.
I forgot to watch it. Damn it.
Did you watch some of it, Brian?
Yeah, I watched both episodes. I liked what I seen. Okay. Not as action heavy the first 2 episodes because they're kind of catching you up with where these characters are. It's the characters from the Netflix series brought over to the MCU.
Yeah,
so
of course, sure.
Kind of catching you up where Matt Murdock is, where Wilson Fisk is.
Yeah, Wilson Fisk is the mayor now, right?
Yeah, he's the mayor of New York.
Cool. They get into Echo, I believe.
Yeah, they're getting into a lot of what the city thinks of it. You know, part of the city likes it, part of the city doesn't like it. At this point in the show, Daredevil has kind of put down the mask and doesn't want to be a vigilante no more. So it's kind of building these stories. They introduce a new character in there. I won't say anything about that.
Okay.
Could be a villain, could be the hero, could be playing the middle.
That's not very specific.
Yeah.
That leaves it wide open. Okay.
And at some point during the season, we're gonna get John Bernthal as the Punisher. He's back.
Okay.
Cool.
That's what I was gonna ask if we had a Punisher sighting yet.
I never even got that much into the Punisher series, but like the Punisher when he was on the Daredevil series was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't care too much for the first season of his show, but I thought they did a better job on the second season.
See, and I don't even think I ever watched the second season because I didn't make it through the first season.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well.
But he's my Punisher. Sorry, Nez. I know you like the 80s. What's his name? Ivan Drago as the Punisher.
Oh God.
Get out.
Come on.
All right.
Nez.
We're gonna have to seek some therapy for Nez. He's got like a little too close to some of those '80s movies.
But Daredevil, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. There was some good action scenes in there. They're definitely going violent and bloody with the action scenes.
Good.
So
okay.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. There's 2 episodes out right now. They're about an hour apiece. So good stuff so far.
I hope they keep going with that. See, look, that's proof that you can do something where like people have historically tried to make movies about this character and it was historically shitty, and then they made it good.
Yes.
Right? Fantastic Four. I'm hoping
they haven't done a good one yet, right?
I know.
Can we agree?
You're talking about that Roger Corman one in 1990 was awesome.
The
one they could release.
Four characters in themselves are a little cheesy to begin. Like, oh, he's stretchy. That's a superpower. All right. Whatever, man.
He's super intelligent. I mean, he's a scientist, you know.
Well, right, but if you're gonna like choose your own superpower to be really cool, that's not it.
It could come in handy if you know what I mean.
I have a 13-foot, 1-inch diameter willy. All right. Well, I'll jump into my cool of the week.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Daredevil?
Daredevil.
Okay.
I don't know how horror centric it is, but all right. So I'll tell you about my weekend, and then we'll get into my cool of the week because it sort of plays into the part. So my buddy comes down with his kid this weekend, and we go on this little like charter fishing trip. Right? Didn't catch a goddamn thing, but we had a blast with the kids. Right? Come back and watch some classic fucking movies. Snatch, dude. I haven't seen Snatch in so long.
It's a good one.
Every scene in that movie is magical. It is the perfect film. I love it. It might be my favorite movie of all time.
Damn. All right.
I love Snatch. And then we watched Super Troopers, which is a good almost as good.
Yep.
Did you watch it yet, Lance?
I did. Yeah, I did. I finally checked it out, man.
Checked what out? Super Troopers?
I was impressed. Yeah, I was impressed, but still, my favorite movie of theirs is still got to be Beer Fest. Maybe
Super Troopers.
Maybe for personal reasons.
Sure.
As long as you didn't say the Slammin' Salmon.
Yeah.
That one wasn't super great. Neither was the one that was like in the Jamaican island or whatever.
Club Dread.
Yeah. It was okay. Club Med.
But like the first Super Troopers, okay, so once they get into like the serious drama of it, it's like not quite as funny, and they get a little more into the story. But like the first half of the movie is just nonstop fun. Like everything is hilarious. It's totally lighthearted. There's nothing serious at all. It's great. And all the jokes. That guy is funny. Everybody in that movie's awesome.
That guy is married to Christina Hendricks. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
Hey, sense of humor does wonders.
Yeah, it has to, because I've seen pictures of them together, and I'm just like, how does this work?
Right.
I guess it's working. Maybe he's Mr. Fantastic,
because she's much bigger than him.
That could be fun too.
Maybe he's got some Reed Richards powers. I don't know.
Maybe he does. There you go. But yeah, I think that's what I got. I had some classics, man. But Snatch is definitely my cool of the week. Oh my god, every scene, the music is perfect. Every scene is like, even when they do some shit as simple as just repeat a line, it's for a purpose and it makes a point. And like, there's no dead space in this movie. I love it.
Nice. Yeah. All right. So Snatch it is then this week. That's a good one. All right. Well, yeah, I'm having trouble because I haven't really watched a lot of movies, and like I'm way behind on TV series. But I mean, you guys know I like to read 24 books a year. So if you're gonna make that commitment, you may or may not want to pick a 1,600-page fantasy book to be one of the books, but
you should pick Chaos
I
to
did.
be one of the books, Lance. I'm telling you.
I did add that to my want to read.
Told you months ago, Lance.
Please read it.
Yes.
It's gonna change the way you think about the world.
Okay, but I just finished. You guys heard of this author Brandon Sanderson, fantasy writer?
Sure haven't.
Yeah, all right. Well, dude, look, he's got a series of books. The first book is called The Way of Kings. Like I said, it's 1,600 pages long. So I bought the 4-book set, and I'm like 23% through, and I'm one super long book in. So I've got a long way to go. But it's a really cool universe that he builds. He's got it's kind of. Let's put it this way: if George R.R. Martin would get off his lazy ass and finish his series of books, he could learn some lessons from Brandon, because Brandon writes one of these like every 2 years religiously. So he's already up to 5 books in the series. But
that guy's
it's
not
like
finishing.
No, George
no.
R.R. Martin.
George,
I don't think it's going to happen.
Done.
We've been saying the same shit for like 6 years.
Every time I hear his name in the news, he's got like a movie coming out based on one of his other books, or a video game or something.
Right. Or that one that looks kind of like it's Into the Badlands, Brian. I think I sent you the trailer for that one.
Yeah.
New TV show that he's executive producing.
You know, I think what happened is HBO fucked it up, and in order to make it good, it's going to have to be great. And he doesn't want to fuck with it. He's like, or I could just let the money roll in and sit back and drink a martini.
I think.
What if what he has already written is worse than what HBO did?
I don't think so. I got faith in him. I really just kind of wish somebody would pick it up and just ghostwrite, because it's only 2 more books that need to come out. So if somebody would just fucking, come out and ghostwrite, hell, this dude could do a good job, because this book, The Way of Kings, it's phenomenal. It's like on that grand epic scale, like Game of Thrones, where you've got so many different characters, and like every chapter, they switch around from character to character. You can tell there's like 2 main ones that are kind of headed toward each other in their trajectory. There's alliances that are formed, and then the alliances are broken. There's people that like sell each other out, like stab each other in the back. So it's kind of Games of Thrones-ish that way. But what makes it different is it's on a completely different planet, where like gemstones, different type of gemstones, can absorb light, and people that learn how to use magic, they can like pull the light and the power out of the gemstones and do really cool things like sticking to walls or making rocks float in the air. Another kind of gemstone gives them superpowers. So it's very interesting. And then they've got something called a shard blade, and there's only a certain number of them, and they have to put gems together to create a shard blade. It's basically a lightsaber.
It sounds like a fucking Final Fantasy game.
It's like an adamantium lightsaber, right? So it can cut through any type of door, wall, rock. And then like if it pierces armor, it like just instantly kills the person, and their eyes sink in and start smoking. So it's like a very hard weapon to get. The only way to get one is to defeat someone who has one, and then you win theirs, or if you're gifted one. So it's like really cool. You get a lot of Highlander in it, a lot of Star Wars in it, a lot of Game of Thrones in it. A lot of Final Fantasy.
This is an RPG game, is what this is. 100%.
It really is, dude. It really is. And I'm super fucking into it, but it took me like 3 weeks to read the first book, so I'm gonna have to thumb through a couple of graphic novels, make sure I stay on my 24-book pace before I pick up the next one. But
does it count if it has pictures?
And this one actually has some pictures, because the world is so different, and like the different creatures, like there's a lot more crustacean-based creatures that they ride instead of horses and stuff like that. So the dude took his time, man. He did some great universe building, and it's very good writing. Characters that you care about, evil characters that good characters that turn heel, Brian. Evil characters that do something heroic that you wouldn't have expected. So it's got me, man. I'm gonna keep reading them. So
nice.
that's my cool of the week.
I'm gonna read 24 books next year, but 22 of them are gonna be Dr. Seuss.
Whatever works, man. I'm gonna read 24 postcards next year. All right, Brian, bring us some horror headlines, man.
All
Something's
right. Gonna start with TV. We got I don't know if we brought this up during the show or before we started recording, but we talk about Joey Pantoliano.
Hey,
Yes.
Joey Pants.
Joins the cast of The Last of Us season 2.
Huh.
Let me guess. He's a bad guy. He betrays somebody. That's his shtick.
Could be a good
I was gonna
guess,
say, I can't see him doing anything else.
He is the Judas character.
Even when he's not a villain in a movie or a TV show, you're just kind of looking at him like, when are you gonna do something bad?
Yeah, when are you gonna turn?
Guy.
That's right.
Lance, we have some
You
more
trusted Joey
news.
Pants? Are you fucking kidding me?
We got some more casting news for Dexter Resurrection.
Okay, let's see how they fit in the timeline.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Come on, dude. How's he going to fit in the timeline? Give me a break.
Well, he should fit a lot better than Peter Dinklage.
I don't know. He's been around a while. I always loved him in that Harold and Kumar Christmas movie.
Yeah, for sure. But that was fucking 20 years ago, man.
I know, it has been a while. Old. Yeah, now that you mention it, it's
felt like he was old then.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I was like, dude, he's got to be like almost 60 at this point, right?
A lot of us are almost 60 at this point, dude. I turned 57 tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Lance.
57. Thank you.
Happy 67th birthday.
Not quite yet.
All right.
You
movie
put that
news.
AARP membership to good use.
Yes, I do qualify. Once you hit 55, you qualify.
That counts.
Get discounts off at the theater?
Yes, I do. Although I've got an AMC A-list, but I always buy AJ a senior's ticket. And she's like, I don't want a fucking senior's ticket. They're going to look at me and say you're not old enough. So just fucking go with the senior's ticket. It's $2 less, goddammit.
I know. Is that what they're going to do? They're going to look at the ticket and be like, this bitch ain't old enough.
Yeah, right. Come on. Give me a break. When we were kids, dude, one of us used to go and hold the door open in the movie theater for all our friends to come through.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Matthew Modine joins the cast of the next Godzilla Kong movie.
Okay.
Let's see. Catherine Newton. We've seen her in Freaky. Abigail. Lisa Frankenstein joins the cast of Ready or Not 2.
Oh, that's going to be great. I like that casting. I really do.
Jaws is coming back to the theater for its 50th anniversary this summer.
As well it should. So is it going to be like remastered or like
most likely,
converted for the newer technology or anything like that?
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll at least come out with a new cover.
Yeah.
So that
that's about it.
A new Bluetooth.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Blu-ray.
I know what you were talking about.
What are them Bluetooths? You know what I mean.
Them things them kids have these days. You know what I mean.
Watching your movie on the CDs.
And I guess we'll cut news short because there's not much of it. But we'll finish off with David Arquette is returning for Scream 7.
How's that going to work? Flashbacks?
Now, me and my daughter is a big fan of the Scream franchise, so we were talking about it. I think a lot of these characters that they're bringing them back are going to be flashbacks or dream sequences.
Okay. Yeah,
but I think the only one who's going to be in present day is Matthew Lillard.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, or maybe like a mental breakdown sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I could see that Sydney having a mental breakdown and then she's seeing all these ghost fights from her past.
Yeah.
Sure. That's possible. Yeah, that's possible. I don't. It could either be pretty good or really, really bad. I guess we're gonna
Yeah.
find out.
I mean, that's better than a dream sequence, but we'll see what they do.
Yeah. And that's it. That's it for news.
All right. On that note, let's take a little trip down to the trailer park. Brian is going to bring us the big, the small, and sometimes the very, very weird. What's number one tonight, man?
Number one of a couple of streaming movies is Control Freak. This one's coming out on Hulu, and it is directed and written by Shay Nago and stars Kelly Marie Tran, which I believe she was in Star Wars, the newer ones.
Oh, maybe she was the was she the character that like saved Finn?
Yeah.
Oh,
from his fucking epic hero moment, and they ruined it.
That's right. Kind of a minor character, I guess.
She ruined it by almost killing him.
Yeah.
What you guys think?
They both look kind of fun this week. No, it looks like fun. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, maybe.
It's streaming, right? So
I didn't really gauge much of what this movie's about.
Yeah, these were both pretty short, weren't they? Almost.
Let's see.
Right,
synopsis real quick is a motivational speaker is tormented by an unrelenting itch on the back of her head.
Okay.
Yeah, no, didn't get that at all.
Yeah, that's a stretch. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm open to it for sure. Like, I'll definitely watch it if it gets some good buzz. But it didn't give me enough to be like, oh, I definitely want to see this, because I don't know what it's about.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
It just seems like a weird fucking movie.
That one with Sebastian Stan in it a couple of years ago, where he was eating people. That was kind of cool. Like, right? We didn't expect much of that, and it was fun.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Hopefully this will go the
cut
same route.
Her butt cheek off.
Yeah. Hey, that's where the meat is. Rumpos.
I was, after seeing the trailer, I was wondering. You guys remember that movie Bug with Michael Shannon?
Yes.
And
I love that movie. Love that movie.
Do you think they're going?
William Friedkin directed.
Yeah. Do you think they're going that direction? Like, this stuff is not really happening.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe she's got some neurotic thing or some kind of power. Maybe.
Like Carrie.
I don't know.
Okay.
Guess we'll see.
But that's what, like, I have no idea what this is about.
And sometimes that's good, right?
Somebody with an itch.
Or
IMDb.
They probably make some medication for that.
Yeah, a little cream.
Yeah.
Well, this one actually comes out next week, March 13th on Hulu.
And what? Hulu. All right. Nice. I think we all have Hulu. That's cool.
Yeah. That was a cagey ass trailer for being a week away.
Yeah.
And our final trailer, this one is coming to Max. It is a horror comedy called The Parenting, directed by Craig Johnson, written by Kent Subletto, and stars a bunch of people.
Most importantly, Brian Cox and Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah, Brian Cox, literally.
Carmela Soprano.
Oh, it was Carmela. I knew I heard that voice.
Lisa Kudrow, Dean Norris.
Okay.
Parker Posey.
Yeah.
A bunch of other people. What you guys think of this one? Horror comedy.
Pretty excited. This one looks fun. Especially Brian Cox.
Brian Cox and Lisa Kudrow, I'm sold.
Yeah.
That was, as soon as Lisa Kudrow popped up in this movie, I was like, all right, I'm watching it.
I was laughing at a bunch of scenes. When they walk on Edie Falco on the toilet and the dude closes the door and he's like, I've seen it. And now I can't unsee it.
It. We've all been there, right?
And then Brian Cox walks in naked and apparently has a boner. And he just keeps telling everybody, look at it.
This looks like comedy gold to me.
Yeah.
Like I
Looks
hope
good.
this is
Looks
as good
good.
as I want it to be. But like
And
just from the previews, there were like a lot of laughable moments.
yeah.
Yes.
And according to IMDb, this also comes out March 13th.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I never even heard of this. If it's as good as I think it's gonna be, it seems like it should have been bigger. And this is a streaming one?
Yep. The Max.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's going to be a big weekend, Brian. We were talking about that earlier, right? Because we've got two different competing horror movies in the theater, right? The one with Samara Weaving in it, which is the one we're going to see, and Opus, right? And that's
Which
all
I've
that the 13th, correct?
Yeah,
That all
which
that
I've
stuff comes out.
heard some things about Opus. Might be a good thing we're not reviewing it.
yikes.
Okay.
I heard some early reviews. It's
Oh no.
not that great.
Well, that's right. Sometimes the not
Okay,
so great ones are
wow.
the best reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see, I guess.
All right.
We'll stick with Samara Weaving, right?
Yeah, I'll take it.
For her
She's
pick.
show favorite.
Yeah.
All right,
All
that's
right.
it.
On to listener feedback. This week we're going to shine the podcast spotlight on Old Dog's New Tricks. Old Dog's New Tricks reviews movies and television. Well, that's a good description.
Well,
Check 'em
sounds
out.
like a very short description. Do you know anything else about this show, Brian?
Yes, it's hosted by a friend of the show, Taylor, and co-hosted
Okay.
by Nez.
Oh, there you go.
Nez
Okay.
is the old dog out of the group.
That I knew it sounded
That
familiar.
Makes sense, yeah.
And we got an email from Jeffrey Reddick, creator of the Final Destination franchise. Creator of the Final Destination franchise emailed us, guys. That's a real thing that happened. He has confirmed that he will be joining us for our Final Destination retro show in May. I don't know that we should have announced that, but now you're stuck, Jeffrey. Thank you so much.
He's in. I already sent him a T-shirt, so he's locked down.
In regards to the I See the Demon trailer, Bill D. Russell says unbelievable.
Brian,
you've seen that one, right? I don't think I've seen that trailer yet.
I only watch trailers for the show. I try to watch I try to keep my trailer limited because I like to be surprised with most movies.
Makes sense.
In regards to the fan poster for A Nightmare in Space, Steve Carlton says, yo, that's a crazy concept if you think about it. Hypersleep for long space flights, that could be insane.
With Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of stuff could happen there,
huh? You can't get out.
Yeah.
David Barta says, would not be preferred, but I go in with an open mind. I love being pleasantly surprised.
Hey, Jason X was a big surprise when I first seen it.
Yeah.
You
it was ridiculous, but it was fun.
Yeah. He didn't put the comment in. I don't know who it was. Tried to tell me that this is not a real movie. No, it's not a real movie. It's a concept poster.
Yeah, we know that. We didn't need to cover that. Everybody knows. Surely everybody knows it's just like a fan poster. Come on.
This is not a thing.
Okay. Well, now we know. Thank you.
But it'd be cool if it was.
It may be one day. It's out there now.
Yeah, cool poster.
And in our poll, The Mist retains its lead as the best Stephen King adaptation, hanging in with 19%. How many options do we have?
I think there was. I think I posted between 10 and 15.
Okay, that's pretty fucking good then.
Yeah, that might be about a third.
And I
that might be about a third of them.
Try to keep it mostly just horror, so I didn't put Shawshank or Green Mile.
Yeah. But go check it out on the Facebook page if you get the opportunity. Let's see. Stephanie Singleton says, haven't read all his books, just some, but I've seen many of the movies. I'm with you.
Yes.
Stephen King's got an awful lot of movies and an awful lot of books, but I've only read a couple of them.
I've read them all.
Let's see. In regards for the poster for Kraken, Rob Brown says, nice. Probably not the way he said it when he meant it, but that's the way I read it.
You never know.
Right.
In regards to The Gorge. Oh, yeah, I did watch The Gorge. It was fantastic.
Nice.
Mike J. Moran said, I loved this movie. Yeah, it was pretty great, man. Like, it wasn't like super deep, but I had a really fun time.
Yeah.
In regards to the trailer for It Doesn't Get Any Better Than This, Todd Haig says, so I guess they want only maybe a few hundred people to see it. There's nothing in the trailer to suggest it's worth anyone's time to watch it. I've never even heard of it, so I guess it doesn't get any better than that.
That's pretty brutal.
In regards to The Howling 2, Mark Komarzinski says kind of hokey, but worth it for the Sybil Danning scenes alone. Cult film status achieved.
For sure.
You got to watch it for the end credits just alone.
Yeah, you can just watch the credits. It's fine.
17 times in a row. Yeah.
It's a wild movie. That one I had a blast. In regards to Texas Chainsaw 2, Jedediah Sawyer. Is that your real name, Jedediah? That's awesome.
I like that.
My next favorite film next to the original. My cosplay for the horror convention one year when they came to my location. Check out the pic in the Horror Returns group. Nice. Robert Klepper says, Cease, you just needed to get to know him. Straight up dude. He's committed, strong, and prides in love in the family. We'll do whatever it takes to see them smile. Beautiful couple. I like it. Hey, find that silver lining. That's it for listener feedback. Our show intro and logos come from Steve Carlton from The Geeks. Original skull artwork from Natsulani. And if you'd like to help us out, please consider becoming a Patreon patron. We'll let you pick the movies for a future show at any amount. And for $5 or more a month, also pick a commentary for a future bonus show. On to our featured attractions. We say happy birthday, my bad, to listener Nicole Loftus with a review of Carrie and The Rage, Carrie 2. So we'll start with the original Carrie from 1976. Carrie White, a shy, friendless teenager who is sheltered by her domineering religious mother, unleashes her telekinetic powers after being humiliated by her classmates at her senior prom. Director is Brian De Palma, also known for Blowout and Phantom of the Paradise. Really?
Yeah.
And
Beef.
writer is Lawrence D. Cohen, also known for It and the Tommyknockers.
Okay.
A big Stephen King fan, I take it.
Sounds that way.
When Sissy Spacek was preparing her for her character, she isolated herself from the rest of the ensemble, decorating her dressing room with heavy religious iconography, and studied Gustave Dore's Illustrated Bible. She studied the body. I don't know. I probably fucked that name up. My bad. She studied the body language of people being stoned for their sins, starting or ending every scene in one of those positions.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. That's cool.
That is interesting. Okay.
While speaking at a book event in Fort Myers, Florida in 2010, Stephen King recalled that he was paid just $2,500 for the movie rights to Carrie. Which may seem like a pittance, but he has no regrets. I was fortunate to have that happen to my first book, King said.
Yeah. We actually got about halfway through writing the book and threw it in the trash, and his wife Tabitha pulled it out of the trash and said, "You need to finish this." That's a little
Really?
bit of trivia on the book,
Okay.
so it almost never was.
It was almost kind of written like a movie, although I'd never actually read the book. So
Yeah, it's pretty
story-
close, man. It's
the
pretty spot
storyline
on.
works for the movie, at least, assuming it's story accurate. Lance, you want to start us off on Carrie?
Yeah, seen this one several times. Not my favorite Stephen King adaptation, but it's up there. It's probably like in the top 5 for sure. And there's a lot of symbolism in this movie, not just the religious symbolism, like all the prayer candles and then the room full of candles in the last scene. Hell, I'd actually on this rewatch, I'd kind of almost forgotten the final scenes, like with her and her mom, with all the knives and flying and stuff like that after the prom. Like I just remembered the big ending part being the prom, and then I kind of remembered that last part. But the movie it like starts out with blood, and I don't know if it has anything to do with the blood of Christ or the body of Christ or any of that. I don't know how deep Stephen King meant to go there. He definitely made it clear that he's not a huge fan of organized religion gone wrong. He puts that in all of his books, so that's
I don't know how super duper
on.
familiar he is with Christianity.
Yeah, well, I mean, think of all the characters like Mrs. Carmody from The Mist. He's always got one religious nut, right? A religious zealot under the dome, what have you. Anyway, but yeah, the movie starts with blood and kind of ends with a lot of blood, and I don't know if it had to do with that so much as maybe just femininity and the fact that women bleed to their menstrual cycle every month. They were throwing tampons at her.
I just don't trust then, of course, anything that bleeds for 7 days and doesn't die.
Plug it up. Plug it up.
Yeah, and that was pretty brutal. But one thing I really caught more on this one was like I wouldn't call it a horror comedy, but there was definitely a lot of humor in those scenes where like the coach was punishing the students and like the music was da 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 da
or
da 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 da. They'd pick up and they were doing the push-ups.
The scene where they're getting the tuxedos.
Yeah, the tuxedo scene. That was a good one. Oh, and the pig, where they're going to get the pig's blood with John Travolta, hey, and
don't call me stupid, hey.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, it was a lot of good characters in this one, but to me they were kind of like believable because they were all sort of bullies, but some of them sort of had some redeeming qualities. PJ Souls was a bitch. She was like, you could see her face during the final scene when she just pointed and just started laughing at Carrie, like didn't really care about it. And she was probably the meanest one, I guess, at heart, even though others did some meaner things than that.
A lot of them had it coming.
That's true. But then there were a lot that got caught in the crossfire too, right?
Yeah.
And then you got that embarrassing scene, right, where they're in the class and they're talking about was it Romeo and Juliet they were talking about? I think
So.
Okay, and the teacher's kind of making fun of Carrie. He's like, "Oh, it's such a beautiful thing." It's like everybody's out to get this poor girl because she's so mousy and meek. And I guess that kind of falls into like what you were saying about her, always starting and ending every scene in a position of someone who's being religiously stoned or persecuted. So yeah, movie had a lot to say about persecution. It was a little bit over the top, but then again, we were like that. I mean, I went to high school like in the 80s and, this was a little bit before that, but we were fucking bullies, man. And we had cliques, right? Like I was usually one of the nerd group or the heads group, which is the guys that smoked weed like behind the building and stuff like that. But we would sometimes do things like play Dungeons and Dragons in the cafeteria. And then you had your jock group, and then of course you had the goths and the punk rockers and all that. So you could see that cliquishness in some of the scenes where they were having lunch outside and stuff like that. But no, I think it's a really good movie, start to finish. There's a lot of great acting in this. The characters are we might get into a movie after this where I think it gets a little off the rails with how the characters act, but at least in this one there was some believability in everybody, and I could kind of understand the motivations, and who doesn't love that final prom scene and just how it drags on and on and on, and her locking the doors on everybody and people burning alive and shit like that, and just pretty brutal. And then that final scene with her and her mom, where she finally let her mom have it by letting all the knives fly, was pretty amazing. Even though, in all fairness, her mom did stab her first. But good movie, man. Has a lot of messages in it. It's it stands the test of time.
With your high school experience, do you feel like that's more of a caricature, or that's like actually how it was?
I think that the next movie we're going to review is going to have a lot of caricatures in it.
Yeah.
I think this one was maybe a little bit more spot on. I don't know.
Okay.
Just in my experience.
Not in my high school. It was nothing like either one of these movies.
You've told us. Yeah. You've told us that before, Brian. You've told us that. How was your high school different, man?
I mean, there was bullying going around, but it wasn't to the extent of neither one of these movies.
Right. Sure. Well,
it's like
they got to make the movie.
Shit. They made fun of the weird kid for a minute.
Yeah, there you go, and then moved on, right?
Yeah. Well, because I don't know. I mean, I guess we sort of had like cliques in high school, but like I was sort of friends with everybody, so I didn't really belong to any of them.
Right.
And I felt like the high school movies were maybe more caricatured.
Yeah,
but it's been
like
such
Better
a
Off
trope.
Dead and stuff
But it's
like
been
that.
such a trope for such a long time. I'm like, well,
Candles.
maybe high school in the 70s and 80s was a little different.
Yeah. And you got to remember, this movie was 76, so this was way before I was in high school. So hell, I can't believe this movie's that old. I didn't remember it being from the 70s. For some reason, I thought it was like, kind of more of an early 80s movie. So it definitely stands up in that respect.
That's a good point, actually. It doesn't seem like it's I mean, because you think of something like The Exorcist, which is a classic, and you know that it was made in the 70s, or even when was it? 60s?
73.
73. Okay. But it's got that feel to it, and this one,
sure, Rosemary's
even though
Baby.
I guess it sort of has a 70s feel to it, can almost just sort of transcend decades.
I would agree. Yeah. It kind of had that feel to it.
Huh. Brian, what'd you think?
Classic movie. Again, another movie we're reviewing where it's the classic tale of fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
A movie full of horrible, horrible people.
Picked the wrong motherfucking one.
Even the principal doesn't even care to even get her name right.
Oh yeah, Cassie.
Then you got John Travolta.
Yeah.
Doesn't like to be called dumb, so he smacks the shit out of his girlfriend.
Oh yeah. Right.
And how sadistic, what's the actress's name? Nancy Allen. Setting the whole thing up. Even her reaction to John Travolta killing the pig.
Mm-hmm.
So like bloodthirsty. Another standout character is Piper Laurie as Mrs. White, because she was a fucking nutcase.
Yeah.
I can see your dirty pillows.
Great role though.
Yeah.
She's the one that made this movie.
Yeah.
And
I can't
how terrifying was that portrayal of Jesus, the one on her little cross in her closet with the light up eyes.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah, but a lot of iconic scenes, a lot of iconic lines. They're all gonna laugh at you. I've heard they used sampled in songs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Great
cast.
In the next
movie.
Yeah, William Catt, Greatest American Hero. I didn't like that he got took out by a bucket.
Yeah.
Because apparently he's not knocked out. He's killed by the bucket. An empty bucket.
Come on.
They're dangerous.
Well, I guess I never saw him again after that, now that you mention it. Shit.
Well, he didn't have time to wake up. The high school burned down. So. But But yeah, this is not my favorite Stephen King movie, but I think it's one of the more iconic ones because everybody knows the prom scene, the image of her with the pig's blood all over her.
Yeah.
So
well, and even walking down the street afterwards, I think it's pretty cool where she's all covered in blood.
Yeah, why were they still at the school if they drove away? Because I know she didn't speed walk to where they was and cause them to crash.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that part.
Rewatching it is a bummer that the gym teacher died because she's the one that had her back, but I guess she was just a casualty of what was going on.
Yeah.
Well,
back
trapped in a burning building, you know.
Back in the days when you could slap a student.
When you're committing mass murder, it's hard to distinguish.
Yep.
Well, in her mind, everybody was laughing at her, even though you could tell that person might not have been laughing. That's just what was in her mind.
This is like the school shooter story before there were school shooters.
Yeah. That's a good point, man. I hadn't looked at it that way. And then like that crazy, kaleidoscope type look with all the different faces, even the people that were straight faced or shocked, when they get inside that kaleidoscope that she's looking through from her brain, they're all like just laughing. So she's like, that's how she's perceiving it. So yeah, this could be like the first school shooter story, man. I don't know.
It's sort of what begets more school shooters, I mean, because there's always going to be people who feel like everybody's after them.
Super paranoid.
Yeah, I think it's definitely pretty iconic. One thing I got to say is they're not after you. Chill out.
Right.
You're gonna run into assholes. That happens, man. You gotta fucking deal with it.
part of life.
Yeah. Don't fucking murder people. No, I think this is definitely a classic story with a lot of iconography, and it works as one of Stephen King's best, I think. Especially considering it was his first book, and I guess it was the first movie adaptation from his.
I'm sure it was, right?
Yeah,
I mean, The Shining was pretty long time ago, but not that long ago.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of classic horror. It gives you a really classic story of somebody who's just been mistreated so long that they can't take it anymore and they explode. And she just happens to have psychic powers.
Right.
So
knocking over the ashtray in the counselor's room.
Yeah.
All the teachers walk around smoking cigarettes.
Which, when we get to the second movie, I feel like they handle that situation a lot more better.
Eloquently, or
because this one, she moves shit with her mind, and people see that it flips, and they're just disregarding what they've seen.
Right.
Oh, maybe it was just too close to the edge of the table. Yeah, that's why it flipped in the air.
Yeah, sure. The wind.
Sure.
That's why it hit you in the face.
Inside a building.
But yeah, it's not my favorite. I think it's on the must-watch list of horror movies. But it's not. It's more towards the bottom of that list, I think. Okay. Great, classic, not my favorite. I didn't hate it. All right, scores. Lance, what do you think?
8 on 10. 8 on 10. Good movie.
Okay. Brian?
I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna go 9. I think it's a classic.
Oh wow!
There's not too much I can really say bad about it. So easy 9 on 10.
Better than Maximum Overdrive, Brian? Just different, right?
Production wise, yes.
Yeah.
Overall entertainment, no.
Right.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
It's more of a classic horror movie for sure than a lot of Stephen King stuff. I'm gonna go 7.5 on this one, I think.
Okay. we're all around the same
Yeah,
spot.
no, I mean it's definitely really good. I kind of want to give it more. It's just it's not my favorite. It's maybe it's just because it's been so overdone at this point.
I
Like
like this
Carrie,
more stricter scoring from you these past couple
I
weeks.
know, right?
Yeah, we've got more of that. We've got more of that.
But I mean, like Carrie has been around my entire life, and so this story has always been there, and it's always been sort of stolen from. And so maybe it just seems like a trope, and maybe it's not.
Maybe it was the original.
Maybe it was the original.
Okay.
So maybe it deserves more than that, but I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
What do you guys predict Nez's score would be?
10.
Yeah,
I think so.
76, hella good.
I think so.
All right, on to The Rage, Carrie 2, from 1999, and it shows.
Very 90s movie.
A horrible massacre strikes up after an outcast teenage girl is taunted by a group of high school jocks, all of them unaware of her cutthroat telekinetic powers. That sounds familiar. Director is Kat Shea, also known for Poison Ivy and Stripped to Kill.
Huh. Okay.
I've seen Poison Ivy.
Isn't Poison Ivy the one with what's that girl?
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, Drew Barrymore.
And
that's
the one that played Darlene on Roseanne.
Oh, that's right.
All
that's
right. Well, I was thinking of a totally different thing.
I do remember that.
Who's the girl from Who's the Boss? What's her name?
Alyssa Milano?
Yeah, she's not in that.
The sequel, I think.
Oh, gotcha.
I think that movie got like a few sequels, so you might have seen part 3 or something.
Well, at some point I got to see Alyssa Milano's boobs in one of them, I think.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
A good chance you did.
Writer is Raphael Moreau, also known for Hackers.
That's the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, very 90s.
During filming of the climactic party / bloodbath sequence, it took 3 attempts to shoot Rachel using her telekinetic powers to shatter the glass doors. On the first take, Emily Burgle flinched, and on the second take, she showed her clenched teeth. On the third take, they were able to finish the scene as they wanted it, with her showing no facial reaction. Real glass shattered by the blowers was used for this scene, and Emily received multiple cuts on her skin.
That does not sound like a good idea.
Back, arms, legs, and backside after the shooting of each take. She is deliberately not shown afterwards from the back to hide her injuries. What the fuck?
Yeah, have you guys ever seen
that sounds like a lawsuit.
I think it's on YouTube, like the behind the scenes of that.
No, we gotta check that out.
Jesus Christ!
Safety.
You don't have fake glass in 1999, guys. Get your shit straight.
Come on. Well, hey, at least all the fire wasn't CGI, right?
Yeah. Hey,
I know, right? They burned people alive, and on top of it,
she was a trooper. She was a super trooper, one might say.
All right, Lance, what you think?
Wait, real quick. Let me see if I can pull him up. We just talked about a movie he's directing. One of the football players.
Yeah.
The guy that's always carrying the camera, film, and everything. Elijah Craig. He's the director of Tucker and Dale versus Evil and that upcoming Clown in the Cornfield movie.
Get it?
No kidding.
I thought it was real cool that in this movie he's always carrying a camera. In real life, he became the director.
Yeah, look at that.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Tucker and Dale is one of my favorites. That's a great movie.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I think that Clown in a Cornfield is going to be fun, dude. I do.
I hope so.
I think we're going to enjoy that one. But yeah, they didn't have everybody. At 99, they didn't quite have everybody carrying their cell phones around yet, right?
Yeah, I guess not.
So it had to have like a little.
Did anybody have any cell phones in this?
I don't remember.
I don't remember that they did. I mean, I think that they were there by
they were around
1999,
but they were like this big.
That's when the little Nokia phones were around, right?
Yeah, I didn't get one until I was like 21 or in my early 20s.
Right.
Lance, what'd you think, man?
Not as good as the first, that's for sure.
Well,
I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. You know, you've got one character coming back that was Sue Snell, right? Now she's like the school counselor or whatever, and so you know she's kind of like I guess the link to the original one. And yeah, I guess they didn't show her dying in the gym, right? Because wasn't her and John Travolta were outside looking through the window, so they made it or something like that?
that was Nancy Allen. Sue Snell's the one that tried to stop it, and she got away. Yes. And then they had that fake out scene where Carrie's hand came out the grave.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Which they explained that in the movie because of what happened at the end of the first movie, that she actually got committed, and they bring that up.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
It does make sense. All right, so they tie it together, but so that's obviously how she was able to tell really, really early. It wasn't like you guys were saying the ashtray scene where like, well, let's just pretend that didn't happen. Like they knew immediately. She knew immediately. She gave her those 5 trick questions like, you know, do you ever see furry animals crawling all over you at night? Okay, no, all right. Do you ever make things move with your mind? And she just stares at her and she's like, okay, I know what's going on here. She figured it out, you know, because she'd been through it before. So that was I thought it was fairly clever the way they did that. This was kind of similar to the first, and that you've got the jock guy who's, you know, kind of the nice guy, trying to be the nice guy, and then you get all the others that are just complete dickheads. But I don't know. I found these guys to be kind of obnoxious and over the top. Like, you know, doing a list of how many girls you bang and assigning points to the chick based on, I guess, how hard to get you think the other guys think she would be. It seemed very arbitrary to me, didn't it? To you guys? Because there was like a super hot chick, one of them made it with it. They gave him a 1. And then there was kind of like, well, it was not so hot. They gave him an 8 or something. It's like, where are they fucking coming up with these scores?
Well, there's clearly no point system.
All right. And they were like, oh, the fat chick. And I was like, you just showed her. She's obviously not fat. She's like a normal looking girl.
Well, it seemed to all be based off of what, I think his name was Mark, the main one of the group.
40-year-old teenager.
The main douchebag.
It seemed to be off of what, because Home Improvement kid bangs what's her name? Mina Servi.
Mina Savari?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She was looking good in this one.
Yeah, but because I guess she's a loner goth chick. Yeah. They give him like a low score, and he doesn't even want to. He's trying to scratch it out because he doesn't want to acknowledge that. Like, you guys are really following what this main guy is thinking.
That made no sense to me, dude. I fucking bang Mina Savari. Everybody's gonna know about it. Believe me. He is fucking smoking hot, dude. And the chick that played that, well, her name wasn't Carrie in this. What was her name? I guess it doesn't matter. The main protagonist, Rachel. She was cute, but like she wasn't Mina Savari cute. Yeah, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
She definitely was not the hottest friend.
So, can y'all explain to me at the end when she broke out? Because she had a tattoo, of course, right? They both had it together, her and her friend. They were like friends for life. What's with all this weird, like, I don't know, it looked like vines growing all over her or something like that? Anybody
special
figure out where that came from?
Somebody on the crew was like, guess what I can do? And they were like, okay, let's do it.
Tribal tattoos are in now. Let's go.
Yeah, I guess. I found that rather silly. I found a lot of the characters kind of silly. I just didn't necessarily believe how the hell they were coming up with who gets what point for what. But I'm getting super nitpicky about it.
You're really hung up on how they deal out points.
I am. I'm super. I'm a numbers guy, so I'm super hung up on that. But it was good to see one character back from the original movie, so you could have someone who kind of understood what was going on and could help her through it a little bit. But
I sort of like the way that they sort of like tied it in too, like with the Like her dad was the same dad as Carrie's dad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that
I
was
like
kinda
they
neat.
I like they tied that in, and I like that we didn't have to meet the dad. We just
Right.
know this comes from this gene or whatever comes
True.
from him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
That
they
makes a lot
filmed
of
it. They were
sense.
just like, we don't really need this scene. Which,
Yeah.
thank you. No, we don't.
Took the scene out. Yeah. Took the scene out. Yeah. My overall assessment is that it was a big step down from the original, but I still had a little fun watching it. I'll put it that way.
Well, and I think there were when did the remakes come out? After this or before?
Yeah, after, right? Because there was Chloe,
Oh, I guess they
Chloe
did.
Grace
I know the
Moretz, and then I think it
TV
was
one
TV.
came the Chloe Grace Moretz one came out in 2013, and the
Okay.
TV movie came out sometime in the early 2000s.
Okay. So this is the next Carrie movie.
Yes.
Period.
It took a while. They took a while, didn't
20
they?
fucking years later.
Right?
All right. Brian, what do you think?
I like this one. I think this is kind of a underrated 90s horror movie that doesn't really get talked a lot about.
It was very 90s. It was very
from the
90s.
music
From
to
the
the
soundtrack
clothes.
to everything else.
Yeah.
This whole
Yeah.
movie was just one big tribal armband.
Yeah. The bullies, they were a little bit more over the top than the original movie, but I think they wanted us to, they try to get the message across that these are the ones you're supposed to hate. These guys are gonna get their comeuppance, and I like that they had another basically prom scene at this rich douchebag's summer home or parents one of his homes, so I don't know.
That's right.
And I thought some of the kills were pretty cool.
Yeah.
They were. I like the one with the not clueless girl, because she looked like Alicia Silverstone.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Not Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, I liked her glasses exploding in her face, and then she turned around and shot the spear gun through the home improvement kid's nuts.
Yeah. And like left him in the pool. Like it took the nuts with it.
Right. And then the pool cover that hit the dude in the head, knocked him
That
out.
was actually kind of traumatic to me, because I almost drowned as a kid. So watching him slowly just kind of die, I was just kind of like, oh shit. I don't know if you bleed out your mouth while you're
Probably not. Yeah. Probably not, but you know.
He was just trying really hard to breathe.
Yeah, but this was another classic case of fuck around and find out. But not as good as told as the original one. I don't think the original one's ever going to be topped. I think the closest we're going to get to it is if Mike Flanagan actually makes this Carrie series.
That might be good. Might be good.
Yeah.
That'll be really good.
I still think this is an underrated 90s, not classic or gem, but just like, I don't think it gets talked about enough.
Yeah, kind of had that look to it, like The Craft or something like that.
Yeah, The Craft,
yeah, a little bit.
The Faculty.
Sure.
All them like high school horror movies.
Yeah, yep. I don't know that I ever watched this when it came out.
I remember I probably watched it in like 2000 or something, like when it first came to HBO or whatever.
Me and Nez were talking about he asked what show we were doing next, and I told him Carrie and the Rage, Carrie 2, and he actually reviewed this for the first time. Last year was the first time he ever watched it, and he ended up liking it.
So that's hella good.
Yeah, that's why I say a lot. This is kind of underrated because
sure,
at the low end it's decent. It's not the greatest, but it's entertaining.
Yes,
but I don't think a lot of people have talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not trash, and to be something that came out in 1999 that I completely missed. I don't know that this one got the credit that it should have when it first came out. I mean, especially with people like Mina Suvari. I mean, maybe she was. I don't know if this was maybe super early in her career.
I think it
really
was, right?
Yeah,
she was pretty young.
And but the kid from Home Improvement, like he's a pretty big name. And then the other dude, he was in Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, I had to make sure that was him because he has a twin that acts.
Oh, really?
No shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was him.
Why didn't I know that? But yeah, I was all right. It definitely was. It reeks of its time period for sure. And it's definitely got its
fair enough.
It's 90s stuff, and it's a little bit over the top. Still works. I think some of the like little, I don't want to call them flashback scenes, but like, you know, when she would start getting weirded out or whatever, and they'd put something in black and white and do the shaky cam thing or whatever.
Weird. Yeah.
Like that was, I mean, I guess
it
worked.
Choice.
Maybe it worked for the time. I don't know that it works. So it definitely ages itself. But
Nina she did American Pie right before this the same year.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense.
So maybe she was doing like both these movies sort of at the same time, and you know, you never know what's going to succeed.
She did this, American Pie, and American Beauty all in the same year.
Oh, American Beauty.
All American Girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Bed of Roses.
She's the one on the roses. That's right.
That.
But yeah, I think it was a solid movie. You know, I mean, it wasn't bad. It's weird. It's weird that they took 20 years to make a sequel to Carrie. To be honest.
Yeah.
Like, how is this not something that they just dogged on hard in the 80s?
It worked for Gladiator 2, and I didn't think it would. You know?
Did any of you guys play football?
Yeah.
Nope.
Did your coach ever tell you to pull your pants down and bend over to see if you had a tampon hanging out your ass?
That was very odd. That was very awkward.
No, but it was funny.
Yeah, that was very fucking awkward.
I got some sand in your vagina.
See, I wish they would have kept that scene and maybe had something involving his parents to show us why he acts the way he does.
That makes sense.
Instead of just having that one scene that maybe, you know, he wasn't always like this, but he had adults around him kind of pushing him towards this behavior.
Yeah, so I kind of like that push on the modern movies where they'll take like bullies or whatever and then go into their like personal life, and you figure out why they are the way that they are. Because like these people are just mean for the sake of being mean a lot of times, and those are not really evil characters with a lot of depth.
Yeah, I really wish they would have kind of, like I said, kept that scene with the coach, and then maybe had something with maybe his father or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Add a little depth to the character for sure.
Because
just a quick flashback, you know.
Yeah, because all the other football players that was hanging around with him, they just kind of seemed like they were just following off of what he said. So
right, like there was the one major douchebag. Although that's kind of how kids work too. If there's one major douchebag, a lot of kids will just fucking follow this douche's lead. So, gotta make sure you fix that. But yeah, I think it was all right. It wasn't as good as the first one, obviously. It sort of seemed like a cheap '90s remake, which is kind of exactly what it was, and they just slapped the Carrie 2 on it. But it had enough talent to make it worth it, and it was a decent movie. All right. Scores, Lance, what do you think?
6.5.
Whoa.
All right.
Yeah, 6.5. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. Yep, really liked this one. It was fun. The only things that kind of took me out was like, again, why was she growing tattoos all over at the end? Like, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I thought
somebody in the special effects department just learned how to do it.
I thought the characters were a little too over the top, but other than that, man, it stuck to landing. 6.5. It's a good movie. 2/3 good. Half a point better than Night Swim.
Those exploding eyeballs were pretty awesome. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Spear gun right to the nuts.
Yeah, and then the little sack of bloody junk in the pool.
Oh, God.
Brian?
I'm gonna go a little bit higher, 7.5. Like I said, I think this is
Nice.
underrated.
All right.
They did enough to make me feel that this movie was connected to the original one, and I thought the cast was pretty decent, and some of the effects were pretty cool. And I think the bullies were over the top enough for me to want to see them get their comeuppance, and they all did. Plus, plenty of innocent bystanders, except for Finch from American Pie, who was sitting outside the party.
Oh yeah,
Finch.
Shit break.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Stifler didn't show up on this one.
Which I believe what he says is in the trailer. We're missing one killer party.
Okay. We get.
Those are the only two movies I've ever seen that guy in.
Really?
I think
Surely
so.
he's been in more. Surely he's been in more.
I'm sure he has.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, immediately as soon as I saw him, I was like, holy shit, it's Shit break.
Right?
Yeah, no, I think 6.5 is a good score for this movie. It's it's solid 90s horror ripoff. Kind of the best description for it. Hey, it's
right.
the kid from Home Improvement is like the blonde douchebag guy, and he plays the role perfectly.
Sure. He plays the
Right?
role.
Like, it
he's
works.
blonde until they all fucking shave their heads for some reason before the game.
Yeah, I know that messed me up because then I couldn't tell them apart. I was like, wait, which guy is this?
They look like skinheads.
Yeah, I thought the one guy was going to keep his mohawk. At least I know which one you are.
Yeah.
That would have been great. That would have been fucking great, man. All right. So we enjoyed both movies, guys. That makes for a good week. So again, birthday shout outs. Thanks for picking the movies. And yeah, everybody who listens, we may or may not be able to honor all the birthday requests, but we might be setting a precedent here. Who knows? So as always, we want to thank you guys for listening to another episode of The Horror Returns. We'd love to hear your feedback and ideas. You can always reach us at thehorrorreturns@gmail.com. You can find us at thehorrorreturns.com and follow all of our social media from there, as well as hear the latest episode of the show. Next week, you guessed it, werewolves again. I can't fucking believe this, guys.
Seriously?
And you said, yeah, werewolves again. Steve's going to be back to talk about
okay, cool.
the Howling 3, the marsupials.
I'm kind of excited about that one. Look, if you're gonna get some weird werewolf shit, Australia seems to be, and that's where the marsupials are.
Sure.
So.
Well, we're also gonna do Howling for the original Nightmares. So, Brian, until the horror returns again.
It's a weird.
Good night.